I'm falling in love. I'm just an old hound dog roaming around. Oh Lord, I got all this in heaven above. Whoa, Atlanta, hear me calling. I'm coming back to you one fine day. No need to worry, there ain't no hurry, 'cause I'm on my way back to Georgia. On my way back to Georgia.
This is unbelievable. This is the biggest win of my career.
America is going to fall in love with his kid, Carl Edwards.
Always a patriotic moment, and just a moment we'll see if a Busch Series regular can win for the first time this season. Will Kyle Busch win from the pole, and will Kevin Harvick hold on to that points lead? Let's join the guys in the booth. Mike Joy has the current point standings. Mike?
Thanks, Chris. Let's have a look at the Busch Series standings. Coming in here, Kevin Harvick up 14 on J.J. Yaley, Denny Hamlin, Jamie McMurray, and Clint Boyer. Rookie Bernie Lamar, Leffler, Edwards, Wood, and Keller complete the top 10 as we head into Atlanta.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the following NASCAR legends as they give the most famous words in motorsports: Donnie Allison, Buddy Baker, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, David Pearson, and Richard Petty.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Just once, would you love to have a chance to see that bunch mix it up in stock cars one more time? Let's have a look at our Nicorette starting grid for today's race. Kyle Busch on pole, Ryan Newman outside pole for both races this weekend. Brian Vickers, Matt Kenseth. The front of this grid dominated by Cup regulars. Hamlin, Regan Smith. They are the first Busch regular that is a non-Cup driver. Let's get out of pit road. Matt Yoakum.
Mike, Chris Myers talked about how this is such an intimidating place for rookies like Bernie Lamar, but he's come out of the box strong this year, top 10 in the championship standings, and he starts 10th on the grid. And Kevin Harvick sat him down before they came to Atlanta. He says, look, yes, it's an intimidating place, but you have to look at what you've done this year. Don't put more pressure on yourself. Go to Atlanta and have fun. That's exactly what Bernie has done. He's so pumped up about today. He said, I've loved this place from the time I've got here. It's a very fun racetrack. Looking for some momentum, Jeannie Zelasco, like a lot of others.
Absolutely, yes, Atlanta, all about momentum. I guess the key is whether you have the right mojo working for you. If not, fear not. This place is open to anybody. Ill-handling race car, don't worry about it. You just have to search out and find the groove, the line that works for you. DW talked about it moments ago. As this race goes on, more of the track will open up. I'm talking real estate that is fair game from the white line all the way to the fence. The key, of course, you have to have the guts to search, because as we've said, this place is way fast. You want to search, but not search and destroy, guys.
Today they'll race 195 laps to complete 300 miles. Pit road speed 45. And they'll stop about every 100 miles.
Now, that's for fuel. Pit window 60 to 65 laps. But as I walked through that garage area, the guys were questioning. We watched this at Las Vegas last week. The tires are going to give up so much they might want a short pit rather than run that full run. You see the air temperature there, 57.5 degrees. But the track temp, that's about the hottest it's been all weekend long. Over 82 degrees, and the hotter it gets, the more these cars slide around on this mile-and-a-half track.
Yeah, as I was coming over and the sun starts peeking out, I mean, you could physically feel a much warmer air temperature.
And that's where it's going to be a challenge, because this race is going to end quite late. The track's going to cool down. You'll have to keep up with changes as the track temperature drops.
Well, fellas, let's get this party started.
Yes, it is. DW, we are at the fastest track on the circuit. Reach up there and pull those belts tight. One more time, baby. Let's get it started.
I'm ready. I'm waiting on my green flag. There it is. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Man, that 5-car got a great jump.
different grooves in play.
Yeah, I think the car I saw riding the highest was Jimmy McMurray in that 64 car, but immediately Ryan Newman in the 39, he's trying to work the high side.
I'll tell you something, too. That guy in the red car there on the bottom, Brian Vickers, I've watched him today. He likes this joint. He runs good here. His car is really working well. Keep an eye on him today.
These little knots of cars. Whoops.
Oh, I told you to keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Could have been big.
Well, he got down in there with the Ryan on the outside and just kind of sucked him around.
And Denny Hamlin in the 20 car there, he took advantage of that. There comes Matt Kenseth in that black car, the 17 car on the bottom. We knew when he qualified as good as he did, qualifying there in the 4th position, that he was going to be a force to reckon with early in this race.
McMurray is flying up through this field. He's worked up into the top 10. Kenseth on the bottom against Vickers.
This is a battle for 4th right now.
Vickers' car might be a little bit too free for these early laps here. That's not a bad thing because the car's wheels tighten up as they burn off fuel and the tires wear down.
2nd place, Hamlin trying the inside against Ryan Newman.
Now Hamlin was the fastest car in final practice. At the end of the first practice about midday yesterday, he hit the wall off turn 2 of the right side. His team opted to fix that car and said, you know what, we're not so sure it isn't better now.
Ooh, I like that when it's just cosmetic. A little cosmetic surgery at the track is a good thing.
Dick Burton.
Well, Ryan Newman has just called to his pit, Mike, and said that his car is bottoming out, quote unquote, pretty badly. And of course, once they build up a little bit of air pressure, that problem should go away. But it surely has got to be unnerving to bottom out at these speeds in traffic.
And remember, Dick, that's what Jeff Hammond showed you on the Ford cutaway car, all the different things under the car at low air pressure that will be bottoming out.
Watching for Michael Waltrip. 40.
Whoa.
Boy, that was close between Reed Sorensen and Kevin Conway. Now J.J. Yaley gets up and into the fence. And Greg Biffle, as he was passing another car, did a little side swipe on the way by. So things have been pretty active pretty early.
And this is when the cars are the hardest to drive, Mike. At the start of a race, air pressures are low. You know, the cars are hard to hang on to. Crew chiefs will be telling you, Larry knows this, hang on to her, she'll come to you.
But Darrell, in turn 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, there's 3 different grooves. Exit of 2 and 4, it's about down to 1 groove.
Well, you're going so fast through the corner, you just got to have the whole racetrack to get off either turn.
And that Matt Kenseth in that 17, he's just picking them up and laying them down. Pulls up beside Ryan Newman in the 39, drives by him. Now he takes over the 3rd position with sights set on Denny Hamlin, that red and white 20 car.
The car that Greg Biffle got up and into was Bernie Lamar's. Both continued without incident. Just a big puff of white smoke and a donut on the door.
And look at the run Matt Kenseth in the 17 got, running the bottom through 1 and 2, but he was able to keep the momentum, stay in the throttle on the exit, pulls right up to Denny Hamlin for 2nd place.
Well, when your car's right, you want to be able to run on the bottom. You want to run that left side tires right on that white line if you can get off without being too tight and bogging the thing down.
This is the same car from Matt Kenseth. Now he moves to the high side because Denny Hamlin in the 20 had the bottom. Kenseth moved up. And this is the same car he finished 2nd with at Vegas last week.
See, that's a nice race car right there. He'll go where Hamlin didn't. You go low, I'll go high. You go high, I'll go low.
And it's working at either one of those places.
Now watch Jamie McMurray in the Top Flight 64. He is up to 10th place and coming hard.
And he moved up to the high side right off of the bat. Sitting 4th in the points right now.
Stephen Wallace, Rusty's son, is going to drive the car next week at Bristol. And that's going to be a real test for Stephen. That's a tough place to make your, not necessarily Busch debut, but to go and race.
See Casey Kane in the 9 car there just in front of Jamie McMurray in the 64. Casey making some moves here early. I'm going to tell you another car that's been on the move. We've been talking about Matt Kenseth, but how about his teammate Greg Biffle in the 16 car? Whoa! Casey Kane in the 9, Carl Edwards in the 60. Same deal, squeezing each other up off of turn 2.
Yeah, Casey needed to come down. He didn't want to get trapped behind the car they were coming up on, and he got Carl loose. Carl's loose.
Reckon in turn 2. Reckon in turn 2.
Car
slow down.
Slides to the infield wall at turn number 2. Now that's the number 34 of Scott Lynch. Not sure if there was contact to begin that, but Lynch's car came off 2, came around, stopped at the inside wall. A lot of damage to the rear of that car, so likely there was. Our first caution of the day comes out of lap 13. Look way back here. Okay, look way back there, and you'll have a good idea of how this gets started.
Yeah, he did not
give you an X there for a minute.
He just got loose, Scott Lynch, in the 34 car.
Yep. Snapped loose on him.
Pretty hard impact to the outside, then the inside wall. And this is Brian Vickers, one of the cars that pitted in the 57 car. Real close with Jason Keller there in the 1 car. We had about 18 cars that pitted. You can see pit road just very crowded. That's about as close as you can get and not get in big trouble.
Again, Larry, these are pretty short pit boxes compared to where they've been in Vegas and California.
And it's a fairly narrow pit road as well. And there you see they're fixing the damage on the left front. The 57 did not change tires, but they did pull a rubber out of the right rear, which indicates to me that he had been loose, like you were saying, DW.
Yeah, I think it's a little too free for him.
So Keller and Vickers have both come back to pit road for repairs. Kenny Schrader has taken his car to the garage. They waved the green flag a lap ago to restart this. Pole sitter Kyle Busch has led every one of the 17 laps so far over Kenseth, Hamlin, Newman, and Burton, the top 5. We mentioned Ken Schrader behind the wall. They're replacing the jacking bolt in the right front suspension, and then Schrader will go back out.
I'm going to tell you what, though, Kyle Busch in that 5, that little black dot's getting bigger and bigger behind him. That black dot's called that 17 car. Matt Kenseth started back in the 4th position, and he is coming and coming strong right now. He's about a 10th of a lap quicker than our leader, Kyle Busch, in the 5.
I'll tell you what, there is some evil-looking race cars out there right now. There are guys jumping sideways off all 4 corners.
Carl Edwards, Casey Kane fighting for 7th. And Jamie McMurray looking in.
You got to love this racetrack, though. I mean, already just 18 laps into this race, we're seeing 3 and 4 different grooves through both ends of the racetrack.
Closing right up on that pack, Bernie Lamar, along with J.J. Ailey and Clint Boyer. Matt?
He was 10th on the restart, Mike. Bernie Lamar, he did ask his crew chief, Gene Need, I would prefer to have lap times every lap as the 18 tagged the wall coming out of turn 2. Now, Bernie says, I'm dancing around a little bit, trying the bottom, the middle of the high down in 1 and 2. So give me my lap time so I know which groove is better for my race car at this moment.
Now, that's the 2nd time that J.J. Ailey in the 18 has hit the wall.
Yeah, he's scrubbed it off turn 4 now. He scrubbed it off turn 2.
This is over in turn 2 to the high side of Bernie Lamar in the 77. It gets up there, hits the wall once, scrapes it twice, gets pretty loose in front of Clint Boyer in the 2 car. This is the view that Clint Boyer had.
Probably hear him lift out a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
On point, the Hitachi Lowe's number 5, Kyle Busch, with a bumper full of Matt Kenseth. Jeannie?
Oh, yes. Kyle Dory, the caution, coming on the radio saying, look, the car's a bit tight in the center, but his bigger concern, the 17 of Matt Kenseth. And he even speculated a little bit, you know, his teammate today might be ganging up on me as well, but I'm looking forward to that 17 coming just a little too close. Looking forward to trying to find a way to break free of him.
And, of course, at the speeds, Jeannie, that these cars are running, if Matt Kenseth in the 17 can get to that rear bumper and take care off that spoiler, it'll make him pretty loose. But another car moving up through the field, our pole sitter for tomorrow's Nextel Cup race, Casey Kane in the 9 car, just goes by Ryan Newman. That was a battle for 6th.
Casey Kane should be really good, Larry. The track, he likes to run high. He loves to get up next to that fence. Right now he's not doing it, but he will before the day's over with.
You know, before that last caution, I was just about to talk about Greg Biffle in that 16 car. Now, he didn't get that good of a qualifying run back in 15th. We talked to him during qualifying. They never made a practice qualifying run, but talk about slicing through the field. Already, after 23 laps, he's into the top 5, up into the 4th position. And this is a windshield tear-off. They normally put several layers on there that they can take them off. Looks like 1 or 2 of them has come a little bit loose on the right side.
Wonder if that's his or maybe someone else's.
Could be someone else's. Exactly right. There goes Casey Kane again in the 9 by Denny Hamlin.
It will be someone else's.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Hamlin has been dropping back, Mike, and when we had that caution period earlier, they had hoped that the leaders were going to pit because they were going to pit with the leaders if that happened. They weren't going to take tires, but they were going to work hard on that car because it is, I'll use his words, holy moly tight. Very, very tight on car 20. That's why Hamlin is losing positions.
For the lead, left side of your screen, Matt Kenseth on the bottom.
If he can hold that position right there, he'll take it away exactly, just as he did going off into turn 1. Kyle Busch just looks like he just can't turn his car right now.
Yeah, he said it's a little tight, but I tell you, I'd rather be a little snug right now, and I had to be out there dancing around like what we've seen Yaley and a couple others are having to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
Too tight, we're again hang on the bottom. You can go ahead and take that pound.
30 laps in here in Atlanta, 165 to go. The Nicorette 300 on FX. Kyle Busch led 25, but Matt Kenseth has led the last 4+ in his 8th Atlanta Busch Series race. He won this in 2004.
Well, right now you see how smooth his car seems to be working. We're looking at really the front windshield of second place now, Jeff Burton in the Coast Guard car. And he is, taking over that by passing Kyle Busch. Kyle's car seems like it's a little bit too tight, Chris. But right at the moment, Jeff Burton's car is really working well right around the bottom, and I think he's starting to gain just a little bit on our leader.
Bernie Lamar, one of those rookies in the top 10, and we talked about the double-duty drivers, the Cup drivers in this race, but there is a race within the race in terms of overall points, even though this is only the 5th race of the entire season for the Busch Series.
Yes, it is, Chris, and when you take a look back, guys like the 28th all the way through 37th, they're all fighting for a top 30 right now. Race as we take a look here at the 33 car, Kevin Harvick, who is our driver points leader. But there's a lot of guys right now racing, trying to make sure that they get a solid finish, score some valuable points. So when they go to Bristol next week, they got that cushion to make sure they make the Bristol race.
Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
You see Ryan Newman, 39, slipping back. He started second. He slipped back to 13th. But Harvick pitted on lap 13 with his Outdoor Channel Chevy, restarted 26th, and he is up to 12th.
Well, and again, as you mentioned, he's one of those 18 cars that pitted back on lap 13, started back in 30th, and he's taking advantage of making that pit stop. But look at Greg Biffle in that 16 car. He just drives by Kyle Busch in the 5. And what's happening, we're a little past halfway of this fuel run. The cars that had a little bit of a handling issue, it's become a big issue now halfway into this run.
Well, what I'm looking at, Larry, is blue sky. And we haven't had any blue sky around here for the last day or so. So these guys qualified late yesterday, or this morning, in the cool. And here they are racing in the sunny sunshine of Atlanta, probably causing a little havoc right now with the old setup.
Well, I think you see right there, actually, I think turn 1 and 2 is maybe starting to cool down. That's where that cool down in track temperature is coming from, but I've got to believe turn 3 and 4 right in the sunshine, it's got to be getting just a little bit hotter, because you see there the air temperature is up a little bit. But turn 1 and 2 is starting to get some shade, especially turn 2.
And a lot of these impound races, Larry, the other thing is some of these cars are evil till they can get in the pits and make some adjustments chassis-wise, because they've set them up to qualify, and now they got a race. They haven't made a pit stop yet. Most of them haven't. So a lot of these guys are wanting a caution flag. They just don't want to be the caution flag.
John Wood in the 47. Armor all colors on his Ford this week. Up to 14th. He started back in 33rd. Battling Reed Sorensen, the 20-year-old local standout in the Discount Tire Dodge.
And Darrell, that's the other thing that the impound procedure seems to promote is comers and goers, especially on into the first run of the race.
Yeah, I think if you qualify really, really fast, you got to believe that maybe you don't have the best race set up. So a compromise setup is what you're looking for to start the race and be pretty good once the green flag waves.
And the guy that just drove off from the field at the start of the race, our pole sitter, Kyle Busch, in the 5, he just gets passed by last week's winner from Las Vegas, Casey Kanan, at 9. Now Casey is up to the 4th position.
Yeah, and our outside pole sitter is all the way back in 16th spot. So obviously they had good qualifying package, not such a good race package.
Yeah, Ryan Newman is lapping 2.5 seconds slower than his quickest lap at the start of the race. That's how much the tire fall off can be here.
And this place is so fast that when the car's not handling right, you just can't do anything with it. I mean, you just got to back off and run as fast as you can without wrecking.
Yeah, and then you'll have someone like Matt Kenseth or Jeff Burton, Greg Biffle that hits that setup, and they'll lap you before you know what happens.
Oh, yeah. The first thing you hear is the leader's on the same straightaway with you, and you say, how in the world could that be?
Now we're seeing Jeff Burton in that 21 car going to the high side. This is a battle for the lead right here. I think he'll get that run off turn 2. Just drives by Matt Kenseth in the 17. But you know what? Matt Kenseth, early in the race, no sense in pressing the envelope and issue right here.
I think he's pretty happy to get himself up there the way he did and the car running the way it is. He knows he can tweak on her a little.
Kenseth led 14 laps and quite obviously let Burton go in a fashion that didn't slow his lap times up all that much. So they we'll see if Jeff Burton can move on away from Kenseth.
Oh, I say Matt will say, let me take a look at you here, dude, and see how come you're so fast.
Again, Jeff Burton is in this 21 car this year for about 5 races. This is actually his 3rd start. He ran Daytona and Fontana. The guy that normally runs this car, Kevin Harvick, he'll be in it for 30 races, but Kevin's in his own car this week. Oh, Kyle Busch in trouble.
Got a right rear tire blown out.
Caution is out.
Watch it.
You know what? That makes sense. He must have had a tire going down. That's the reason he was really starting to back up.
Well, it didn't just go down.
Look at that.
When one of those treads of that carcass shreds, look at the damage it can do when that tire's rotating at 180 miles an hour.
Looks like a bomb went off.
It does.
It blew the whole side out of the car. Wow.
And we know he had been backing up from 1st to about 5th or 6th.
No warning there. I mean, he may have had some warning before, but it just blew all at once. And man, he does a well of a job, Larry. Look at him. Hanging on, let her loose. Kept it off the fence.
That sounds as bad as it looks.
That sound and hitting the wall, that pop you get when you hit the wall, those are 2 things that just...
I mean, the whole right side of that race car is gone.
Jeannie?
Yeah, you can hear the sense of urgency in Kyle Busch's voice just on the radio as he started to lose the handling on the car. You might remember some time ago he told you it was tight, and then it was getting loose on him. He actually thought it was problems with the right front going down, and that's why he had talked about coming in anyway. Good timing on his part. I guess he could feel that the end was near for that tire, making his way in. And the good news, the baseball bats are nearby. So are the mallets and the sheet metal, because they've got a little bit of work to do. They didn't plan on doing this so early in the race. He was very happy with his car.
They may have to take that behind the wall, Jeannie, on the opposite side from you. The right side window is broken, the rear quarter window missing. They've got a lot of work to do. Matt?
And Jeff Burton's team waited for him to hit his pit box to go to work. Burton's team going to put scuffs on the car a little free. He doesn't want a lot of adjustment air pressure wise because he's afraid it will tighten up. Meanwhile, the 17, Matt Kenseth, came on the radio, so this thing has gotten massive tight over the past 5 laps. That's why he lost the lead. To Dick.
Well, Carl Edwards told me that when he qualified with this car, the car was extremely loose, and he was concerned about it in the race, but it tightened up as the sun came out. So they're going to try to fix that. They have had the wedge wrench in the back of the car, try to loosen the car up just a little bit, and off he goes.
But I believe when it's all said and done, Greg Biffle in that 16 car, I believe his group, he made a pretty evasive move on pit road. Looks like he will win the battle off pit road. But it was tight quarters there for just a second as these cars were leaving.
Stacy Compton will get the free pass and be back on the lead lap when we resume. 33 cars are on the lead lap. The last of those is Kevin Harvick, who's had such an up and down day, zooming to the front, stopping, going to the back, and now he'll restart tail end of this field. And we're told Carl Edwards also had a tire going down prior to that stop. We listened in.
Are there chunks out of the right rear? Outside of the right rear. Yeah, like maybe we ought to put some air in it, huh?
Sorry for that. He had reported a tire going down just about the time that Kyle Busch exploded that tire.
So that caution was very timely for Carl Edwards. He's sitting up there in the 5th position right now, and there was no strategy on that pit stop there. Pretty much everyone came to pit road in 4 tires.
As they get close to a pit stop and the tires wear out here, they're more vulnerable to being cut down by a piece of debris or even a chunk of rubber on the racetrack.
48 laps complete. 49, we're back under green.
Carl Edwards was talking about his tire going down. They told him there were chunks out of it. He said maybe you ought to put a little more air in it for the next stop. Look at this mess right here. That's about the best way I can describe it.
Well, the 38 car is just like a roadblock right now. He's got everybody bottlenecked up here. It's a wonder. I don't know how they kept them running over each other.
It's AJ Fort to 4th in the black and white 38.
He was a lap down, so he started toward the front on the inside lane. And the lead lap cars had to negotiate past him. And did. Ooh, that was close.
I'll tell you, they're getting off too over there in all shapes and forms and fashions.
How about this pass for lead? Matt Kenseth in the 17 just drove by Greg Biffle in the 16. Now Biffle has his hands full of Jeff Burton in that Coast Guard 21 car.
4 wide behind them. Wow.
That's usually trouble.
And Ryan Newman in that 39, he got about 3 cars at one swipe there. Lamar in the 77, he was bouncing off cars everywhere down the front stretch.
He had a very little control of that car. It was just being shoved around.
Right now, this is a battle for about 9th or 10th position.
Let's go to 2nd place. We're right behind Jeff Burton, who is 2nd. Casey Kane now battling.
Greg Biffle continues to lose a lot of positions here. In fact, he's going to slide all the way back to 5th, as it looks like Kane as well as Burton, and now Carl Edwards working on that car.
A lot of times, Larry, after a pit stop, a driver will complain about his car getting ready for a pit stop. I'm really, really bad. This is really, really loose, or I'm really, really tight. And the crew will make too big of an adjustment based on his reaction.
It's easy to jump the fence here with your adjustments.
Right. I mean, you know how many caution flags you're going to get, how many changes you're going to get to work on it. So you want to try to fix it all at one time. Sometimes that's just not possible.
Kane having a look at Burton. This is for 2nd place.
You know, a good thing to do with the driver is on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you? How loose are you? Are you a 10 or are you a 7? And that really helps for the crew to determine what they need to do.
And the more time you spend with the driver, you understand what his 7 actually means or what his 3 or 4 actually means.
Well, it's a great tool that doctors use in pain management. What's your pain on a scale of 1 to 10? And it works there. It should work here.
Trust me, when it ain't right, you're in a lot of pain out there. I can tell you at 180 miles an hour.
Matt.
Mike, a little bit of concern with some of the teams down in the turn 4 side of pit road with tire wear. Jeff Burton had a couple of different chunks on his right rear. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth crew chief Chad Norris told him, I would not say we were okay, but I would just take care of that right rear. The right front looks good.
And Matt, that was about 20 laps shy of a full fuel run. We talked at the top of the show. Yeah, you can go fuel 60 or 65 laps. Not sure the tires are ready to go that just yet.
I had heard through the truck series and some of the Busch practices that they were seeing some chunking on the right side tires.
All right, Darrell, when the crew chief says, don't abuse that tire.
You know, here at Atlanta, because you're running 180, 90 miles an hour, you can help the car in front of you by getting in his draft, or you can help each other. And so you got to determine where the car that's in front of you, which one you want to follow, and which one will help you the most as well as the guy you're trying to pass.
But if your car is a little free or a little loose, the last place you want that car is up on your rear bumper, taking that air off the spoiler.
3 wide, second place as they came off turn 2. A little early for that.
Pretty aggressive move right there, but I think Casey's car right now, the 9, is so fast, he wants to get away from these guys.
And Darrell, we saw how fast Greg Biffle that we're riding with here in the 16 car fell back. It's almost like now the air pressure is starting to build up in his tires. He's starting to work his way back up to these guys.
Yeah, I'd be a little concerned about it if I had low air, though, because that's what's going to tear up your tires.
And it'll do it early in the run.
Matt Kenseth, the AmeriQuest Ford, has a 1.5 second lead as we close in on 60 laps complete. Kaboom. Jamie McMurray's Top Flight Dodge on pit road with a lot of smoke out the right front. Could be engine, could be oil line, could be a lot of things.
It's got to be an oil line because he was running fast. You don't see the car. It just starts smoking like it's got a line. It broke a line or something. It didn't slow down that much. You can see he's still carrying a good bit of speed. Too much smoke to be a blown engine.
Well, for the Nicorette 300, absolutely.
And just remember, this is the car that's 4th place in the points right now. Of course, Stephen Wallace, Rusty's son, will run it next week at Bristol.
You see the big wrenches they've got. Those are for oil lines, Darrell. So
they're down in there looking.
Yep.
Now, this is going to be interesting. We've been hearing all the problems with tires chunking. It's been 15 laps. Remember, these guys have a limited set of tires. I think a lot of people would like to have seen this run go just a little bit further. I don't know that we're going to see the guys right at the front dive in. A little bit of cat and mouse going in, but I think as long as everyone stays out, everyone else will feel pretty good. I think the first car to hit pit road is Reed Sorensen in the 41, and here comes 4 or 5 others.
Yeah, you could see all the oil up under the hood of the 64 car of McMurray's. The other thing I saw that made me a little nervous, she was shooting water out the overflow, too.
Brian Vickers is in. Paul Menard also on pit road. Michael Waltrip, Casey Mears, Kenny Wallace, and a host of others. Elliott Sadler's in as well. Third caution flag of the day. 64 laps complete, 130 to go.
The Nicorette 300 on FX is sponsored by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series, 25 years running. Matt Kenseth right now running with the lead over Casey Kane and Carl Edwards. We've got 128 laps to go, currently under caution. Quick flashback. Kyle Busch starting on the pole and led the first 25 laps. Caution came out here. Scott Lynch got a little bit of loose outside wall. Then in that 34 car goes to the inside wall. He was all right. Kyle Busch was fading from 5th. And watch the tire problem here. He does a nice job of sliding safely, and then listen to how bad this sounded for him inside the car. So that's what happened to his tire, taking him out of the picture. Tire torn up. Meanwhile, Jamie McMurray in the 64 car. Atlanta's supposed to be a smoke-free city, but as explained moments ago, a bit of an oil line taking Jamie McMurray.
70 laps complete in the Nicorette 300 on FX. Matt Kenseth's Ford, Casey Kane's Dodge, and the Fords of Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle. Out in front of the Chevys, Jeff Burton, Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer. Ryan Newman, Bernie Lamar, and J.J. Yaley complete the top 10, and next time by, we should go back to green.
And we had about 10 cars that made a pit stop then, most notably Reed Sorensen in the 41 car. But we know now, though, including the set of tires that he started the race with, he's used 3 sets, which could have him only having a couple sets left with 125 laps to go. So I don't know. That again, I think everyone would have loved to have seen that go a little further than it did, where you didn't have to burn up that set of tires right there.
Boy, you could have a big advantage, Joe, if this thing stays up under green a while.
Well, we saw what Kevin Harvick did with a little fresher tires a while ago, just 11 lap fresher tires.
Yep. Well, earlier Kyle Busch ate up a tire. Jamie McMurray dropped an oil line. I guess it's time for us to put up or shut up.
What do you think?
Yeah, I guess we better.
Yes, I guess we better.
All right, let's crank it up on this restart.
Ready. Green flag, green flag, green flag.
complete 73 laps. Matt Kenseth out front. You saw a lot of the speedy dry being kicked up from McMurray's loose oil line. He is still on the lead lap, and look at this mid-pack battle.
See Paul Menard in the 11 car there. Now what you're seeing kick up, that's the speedy dry they put down from the 64 Jamie McMurray. And this is a battle back for about 18th to about 26th or 8th.
You know, if it's just a little bit of stay dry, you hardly notice it. But it's the dust that really distracts the guys around you. Oh, boy.
3 wide.
Oh, boy.
And it was David Green in the middle.
I don't know. It's changing. Changes quickly. You're in the middle. No, you're not. You're on the outside. No, now you're on the inside.
Then it was Tim Sauter in the middle. Now it's Paul Menard in the middle lane.
And what happens to this crowd right here? Coming off turn 2 over there, you can pick up a pretty big push. If you have to happen to lift out of the throttle a little bit, somebody's right on your back bumper. They get into you, and around you go, and that causes a big mess.
There's Reed Sorensen, a 41 car.
That's not an oil line there.
And what you've got to remember, yeah, he has definitely lost an engine. This team lost 2 engines at Mexico a couple of weeks ago in the 41 car. So definitely having their share of engine problems. And right now, because he was on the apron of the racetrack, we stay green.
Oh, boy.
You see an oil fire at the back of that race car. And I'm sure he'll make that left-hand turn to the garage area. His day will be over.
Thing is spewing everywhere.
Yep. The track, however, stays green.
I tell you, pit road's got to have a little fluid on it, though. I think that might be a problem.
Right now, we have Matt Kenseth in the 17 leading, but if you notice, Casey Kane in the 9 car, he has moved up the racetrack, and he's been beating Matt Kenseth right now by about a 10th a lap.
Hey, the other guy that has made a nice recovery, needed a pit stop, is the old 39 car. Ryan Newman is back up to 6th place and coming right along behind these boys now. There he comes right there. You know, he was following back through the video all the way back to 16th before the caution flag.
Gaining on Biffle for 5th. Casey Kane eating away at Matt Kenseth's lead.
Little by little. Matt Kenseth moves up the racetrack just a little bit. Casey Kane in the 9 moves up just a little bit higher.
You know, though, Larry, my experience has been you either run high or you run low, but you don't do that kind of in the middle or go in low and wash up high. That's just wasting a lot of time. You got to kind of commit to one area, one lane or the other to make good time.
Matt's gained a little ground, pulled away from Casey Kane that time. Todd Cleaver in the 06 car, sitting there in the 12th position, making his first Busch Series start here at Atlanta. Matt staying pretty solid today, this 06 car.
Having an impressive run just outside the top 10. Now, back when he pitted on lap 43, Larry, he felt like he needed help on entry. Mike Kelly, his crew chief, made a number of adjustments, but Todd felt like they didn't really improve it enough, so they made some more adjustments on the last stop. Now, can you imagine when Troy Aikman was playing in the NFL, if he had Roger Staubach talking in his ear, giving him some pointers and suggestions? That's exactly what Todd Cleaver has. Every caution, Mark Martin, the winningest Busch driver in NASCAR history, back in his motor coach, offering up advice. In fact, Mike Kelly says it happens every race. The only race that didn't get advice was Mexico City because the radio wouldn't reach that far.
And Matt, a guy that you talked about before the race, I've been pretty impressed with his run. Bernie Lamar in this 77 car. He qualified up there in 10th. He has stayed in the top 10 almost the entire race. He's sitting there in 9th right now. And this guy's in the top 10 in points in 10th right now. So this guy continues. And I think he will only get better with seat time.
Very confident young man. I like the way he does an interview. I like the way he's got a good head on his shoulder.
Paul Menard. It's hard to miss that car with that bright yellow-green chartreuse color, but he's right been in the midst of it. He restarted 26th on lap 72 and has worked his way up to 18th.
Got him a drafting partner there too, and Harvick kind of coming through there together.
Yep, Harvick restarted 18th.
Closing in on the back of Casey Mears there.
There's Bernie Lamar. We were just talking about him in the 77 car. He has now caught Denny Hamlin. You see how much quicker he was through the middle of the corner, carrying that speed off the corner. He should be able to complete this pass here pretty shortly, as they are actually also catching Clint Boyer in the 2 car.
Oh, got a car around down here. I think it's the 38.
A.J. Foyt the 4th.
He has had his hands full with that car, and he just let her go.
4th caution of the day for Foyt's spin. At turn 4, caution out at lap 84, 20 laps since our last yellow. And last time, Jason Keller got the free pass. This time, looks like Danny O'Quinn will get the pass.
38 car's got a right front tire down. I'm not sure if that happened in the spin or if that's what caused the spin. That looks like he just got around, nerfed into the side of someone there. I'd say he flat spotted that tire.
Well, the 12 car there of Joel Kaufman just barely squeaks by. But the 38 car, A.J. Foyt the 4th, he has had his hands full, not since the race started, but pretty much since they unloaded the car yesterday.
If your car is not right here, this is an intimidating place.
Now, I would say, even though we still have well over 100 laps to go, most of these guys were back on pit road at lap 42, so we've got about 35 to 40 laps. I've got to believe we'll probably see these guys on pit road. Now, pit road is closed right now, but I've got to believe we probably will see some pit stops coming.
I'm a-coming. That's all I can stand.
You're not leaving until I give you 4, right?
That's all I can stand. Don't even try to talk me out of it.
Well, they'll get another lap to think about it, but I've got to believe there's not a lot of thinking to do here, that we will see most of the cars on pit road.
Still 34 cars on the lead lap with O'Quinn. 2 drivers in the garage out of the race, Reed Sorensen and Scott Lynch. Kyle Busch's car still under repair. You saw the legends give the command to start this race. Who was the oldest driver to win a Busch Series race at Atlanta Motor Speedway?
It's got to be Harry Gant. Or Morgan Shepherd.
The Busch Series, they've not been racing here for that many years, I don't think, at all.
You can still be old.
This is true.
It's got to be Harry Gant or
If
Morgan
it's not
Shepherd.
Harry Gant, we're stumped. What have you got for us?
Harry Gant, 54 years old.
Old car was just a duping going around the track.
And I bet it was up at the top, too.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking the right front.
54 years young.
I saw Harry the other day, and he still looks 54 years young.
Always will.
Handsome Harry. I mean, he deserves that name.
Now that's why pit road is closed. Look up toward where that truck's coming out. They've got a lot of speedy dry down at the just past the entrance to pit road, where I'm going to guess Jamie McMurray. Oh no, who was after that? Reed Sorensen.
Yeah, that was what I was worried about when we didn't get a yellow. How are we going to make a pit stop? Because he had fluid running everywhere when he turned on the pit road. I can understand the apron, but the pit road is going to be a problem.
That oil dry works really well. I guess it's similar to what most folks would know as cat litter, but it's very, very absorbent and picks up fluid. That's the pit road is closed flag, duplicated by a set of lights up there on pit wall.
Tell you one thing that stuff will do, it'll stick to a hot tire. You ride around under caution with that stuff strung everywhere and you get all over your tires, it's hard to get it off. That's why you see a lot of drivers try to avoid it, even though NASCAR is screaming at you to drive through it.
Pit road is open. Cars are on pit road. The 21 of Burton makes his way gently into his pit stall, not to slide through the kitty litter on the racetrack. He's going to make a small track bar adjustment because Burton says the car is just too free on that last run. Today.
Well, Carl Edwards has asked for air pressure in the back tires. That'll give him a little bit more forward grip. They're going to fire 4 at the car. And oh, by the way, he also asked the crew to do a really quick pit stop so he can beat the 2 guys in front of him. Jeannie.
And that's a good idea. The 2-car of Clint Boyer looking for relief. He is too tight all the way around. A little bit of something, please. Have an air pressure and wedge adjustment.
Jeff Burton leads them off pit road. Carl Edwards next.
Burton was first in. He got the first pit box off turn 4.
That worked pretty well.
Works very well.
I would say this group would be pretty happy about this. Oh, Shane Wilson led.
Doing the old chicken.
One to go, one to go.
They've just given the field 1 to go. 105 laps to go in the Nicorette 300 on FX. Now watch this traffic jam on FX. The 06 of Todd Cleaver stops a little short in his box, and watch what ends up here.
See, it's going to block the 9 car Casey Kane in. They're going to have to back up. And then they're actually going to have to back Todd Cleaver there in the 06 up, because he's boxed in by the 27 of David Green.
Not sure how the 06 got that way. The 27 came in after he was already there, so I think he must have just been misplaced in his pit box.
So Casey Kane's going to be kicked all the way back to 15th position on this restart because of the time he lost having to back his car up. Now, our 3 cars at the front of the field right now, Casey Mears in the 42, Paul Menard in the 11, Michael Waltrip in the 99, they did not pit, but remember, that's 3 cars that pitted back on lap 65, so they were almost in a box with 105 laps to go. Couldn't afford to pit then, probably only have a couple of sets of tires left.
I got a feeling the hungry hounds are going to eat them right up.
Jeff Burton is the first car that came in and got 4 tires. His Coast Guard number 21 is 4th as we go back to green.
Yeah, they've got about 18 to 20 laps on those tires. Casey Mears, Paul Menard as well. You see Jeff Burton in that 21 car already starting to work the high side. Meanwhile, Paul Menard, he's going to get kicked back in the 11 car. Burton will probably have the lead possibly before we get back to the start-finish line to complete the first lap.
A lot of grip on those new tires. Here comes Burton.
Whoa, no. Got to have a little room before he can come through there.
Casey Mears shut the door on him. Casey Mears in the 42 will lead that lap. And how about Ryan Newman? What a recovery this group has made in that 39 car. He was going backwards when the race started. Now he's back up there battling for the lead.
And Carl Edwards in the 60 is right there with them. He is tracking Menard.
Yeah, this is some serious racing right here. That 42 car is doing a pretty darn good job of keeping these guys at bay at this moment.
Yeah, if those are old tires, Larry, I want to set them.
But I tell you, look at Ryan Newman in the 39. He drives up beside Jeff Burton in the 21. He's going to go to the high side. Mears will shut the door on him. But look at Carl Edwards in the 60 car, splitting the guys up through there.
Yeah, what happened there, 42 car ran up the hill to block the 39 there of Ryan Newman, and when he did, it left the bottom wide open.
I mean, this is Carl Edwards' house. He will put that car anywhere, and it'll work for him.
The run he gets on the high side, though, is just phenomenal. He'll lead this lap right here.
Well, you got to do it, hold it wide open.
It'll go.
There we go.
This is the first time that Edwards has led today.
It's about that time of day.
See Michael Waltrip there in the 99. Now he's still in the top 10. We're riding with the old Aaron's car here. Remember, he's one of the cars like Mears in the 42, Menard in the 11 that stayed out that last stop.
Yeah, I like what Michael did. He let those guys with the fresher tires, he kind of pulled down, let them go by. Now he's hanging on, hooked onto the back of them, and doing a pretty darn good job of hanging with them.
Matt Kenseth trying to move through that pack of cars. Up to 7th. As Carl Edwards and Jeff Burton keep close tabs on one another. Going to be halfway here in just a couple of laps.
Darryl, you can see how bad that sun is getting off into turn 1 now. We talked about that a little earlier, getting pretty late in the evening here.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, Larry, that this sun being out and clearing up like this took these guys by surprise. Normally you would have tape on your windshield. We saw most of them do have dark shields, but I bet they didn't expect to see this bright sunshine today.
You'll see it right here going down the front straightaway. Now, this is the same view pretty much the driver has going off into turn 1. Plus, you've got a pretty dirty windshield, too, as we approach the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of stay dry put on the racetrack, and that really makes your windshield dirty.
Tomorrow's forecast, heavy overcast, rain late in the day. So the sun probably will not be an issue tomorrow.
These guys are going at it right now. Carl Edwards, he gets such a good run on the high side like he did a while ago. Jeff Burton will take the lead coming off turn 2. Carl Edwards in the 60. He takes it back coming off turn 4.
Yeah, well, Carl's in his groove now. We've seen him do this, you know, last couple of years here. Gets up there in that high groove.
Tell you what, this 2 car right there, Clint Boyer, he is making some nice moves. He's moved up into the top 5. He's starting to work that high side a little bit like what Carl Edwards is doing in the 60 car, but right now he's got his hands full of that black number 17, Matt Kenseth.
Let's go to Kenseth's pit. Here's Matt.
And Mike, a lot's going on for a driver when he comes off turn 4 as the leaders are battling again. Burton on the bottom retakes that position. Now, a lot takes place for a driver in the cockpit coming off turn 4. Now, they had a tornado here last year, which took down the scoring pylon down in turn 1. Matt Kenseth said, it's harder for me to keep up with where I am because I used to look at that scoring pylon down in 1. So please keep me advised as far as how many laps in my position on the racetrack.
And right now, Ryan Newman in the turn 3 car, trouble over there. Caution is out.
Tracy Hines in the Janet King number 14. Took a hard hit into the wall to bring out the 5th caution flag at lap 101.
Now, we pretty much know that all of our leaders that pitted on lap 88, they'll stay out, but the cars that may have to come to pit road now will be Casey Mears, Paul Menard, and probably Michael Waltrip. They're out there on about 30 or 35 lap tires, but a pretty hard lick on the front of this 14 car.
Yeah, it looks like that thing turned head on into the fence, looks like. Must have got hooked by someone. A bunch of guys down on the apron there.
24-degree of banking. It's going to slide down the racetrack right in front of several cars, but fortunately no one hits him as he's coming down this banking.
Didn't see much damage to the left rear, Darrell, but it doesn't take much to get somebody turned. Let's see another angle here.
Oh no, something happened. Left rear tire. You saw the carcass.
Happened at the worst place at the end of the straightaway, just as he was about to turn it off into turn 3.
Right, we couldn't see the left rear there.
Fortunately, Tracy is okay.
Pit road is open, and again, I anticipate most of the guys up at the front will stay out. The cars we'll be watching closely will be Paul Menard in the 11, who looks like he may be peeling off the pit road, and he will. Paul Menard, the 11, 42, Michael Waltrip. The cars we anticipated would be coming because they were cars that stayed out under that last caution.
Casey Mears in the middle of Menard and Waltrip.
Yeah,
and I think Kevin Harvick's coming back in as well.
I guess, Larry, fuel-wise, we got couldn't make it on fuel. I don't think.
No, we got 93 laps to go, so we're about a full fuel run and a half away from the end of the race.
That'd be a stretch.
Fike is in, Kaufman, Keller, Compton making pit stops, and Sadler as well.
The thing this will do, this should even everyone out back to the amount of tires they have left. I'm going to anticipate 1 or 2 sets.
Look at that yellow car coming down pit road. When we get the NASCAR scoring loop statistics for today, I'm sure we're going to find that Kevin Harvick has passed more cars than anybody on the racetrack all day. He's worked his way up toward the top 10, and then he pits. Storms back to the front, and then he pits. Keep making it better and better.
Would that be on the front straightaway or on the back straightaway?
I'll get back to you on that.
104 laps complete here in Atlanta. 91 to go. You see that Jeff Burton leading for the second time today. If you joined us late, it all began with 20-year-old Kyle Busch aggressively on the pole to watch the 5 car. He led the first 25 laps, loses a tire, does a nice job of saving things, and it sounded rough. took out Kyle Busch. As you see what happened to the tire. Jamie McMurray, Jeff, loses an oil line here, running 6th at the time.
He had the oil line come loose right there. Puts a lot of oil on the racetrack as well as underneath his car, but they came in and effected repairs.
So we got an oil line, a tire, and then Reed Sorensen of the Discount Tire Dodge. It was a blown engine that cost him.
Yeah, he loses the engine, goes behind the wall. But on lap 84, guys, business kind of picked up there a little bit. It's the 38 car of A.J. Ford the fourth. He comes around, brings out another caution.
Back under green with 89 laps to go.
Burton got him a restart, didn't he?
He really did, but I'm going to tell you what. Our outside pole sitter, Ryan Newman, in that 39 car, I think every time they make a pit stop, I think they're making that car just a little bit better, Dick Berggren.
Well, last year, Ryan Newman won 6 races in 9 starts. His crew chief was Roy McCauley. McCauley has moved on to the Nextel Cup Series. In California, he had 2 different crew chiefs. And today, it's Matt Gimbel, 33 years old, from Northampton, Pennsylvania. He has a master's a mechanical engineering degree from Temple. He has been on the job for 10 days, and today is his first time ever on top of a pit box calling a race. His guy's in second. He's doing a good job so far.
I would say so.
Now look at this battle right here. Now this is a battle pretty much for about the 8th position, but look at J.J. Yaley in the 18 car in the middle. We watched him bounce off the wall twice in the beginning of the race. Here he's back in the top 10.
One thing, that 77 car has been very consistent. Bernie Lamar right there in the middle of that crowd. He's been right there in the top, 7 or 8, 9, 10 all the whole race long.
And how about Jason Leffler? For much of this race, he has been the leading Busch Series regular who does not have a regular Nextel Cup ride, as well as he in the 32 battles Brian Vickers.
Been pretty solid this season, sitting 7th in the Busch Series points, the 32 car Jason Leffler.
It was Tracy Hines' car we saw going off on the rollback. He's been treated and released at the infield care center.
And our little buddy there, Mr. Top Flight, he got his oil line tightened up, and he's coming back now. He's back up to 16th spot. Car looks good. Got rid of that smoke. Coming to the front.
Got rid of that slice?
Yeah, the bad slice.
You see Ryan Newman in the 39 car. We've been watching him run the top side of the racetrack almost all day, especially down in turn 1 and 2. That's almost completely in shade. Just keeps inching up closer and closer to the lead there on Jeff Burton in the 21.
Where are the Roush Fords? Not far behind. They are 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Behind this battle, Burton and Newman for the lead. Matt?
Mike Kenseth trying to make his way to the front now. Under caution, he was flipping around on his radio because since Biffle and Kenseth are teammates, a lot of time the Roush guys and other multi-car teams talk under caution. Well, he couldn't find his teammate, finally did. Then he says, so are you running the thing like you would your Cup car, Greg asked. And Kenseth said, no, I've got different stuff for tomorrow. He says, I'm sliding the nose a little bit is what Greg said. And then Matt said, well, I'll see you at the end. And right now he is motoring his way back up to the front.
Chevy, Dodge, and then 3 Fords as Newman goes topside in turns 1 and 2.
He may have different stuff for tomorrow. Right now, if he wins this race, he might be making some changes in the morning.
And there goes J.J. Yaley in the 18 car. He goes by Bernie Lamar in the 77. That was a battle for the 9th position. And Brian Vickers in the 57 pulling up there as well. Now there's Clint Boyer in the 2, but the car right in front of him, Casey Kane in the 9. Remember, back on lap 88, he was boxed in on his pit stop. He's worked his way back into the top 10.
Jeannie?
Well, the 2 of Clint Boyer feeling pretty confident. He wondered during the caution, hey, anybody other than the 17 keeping up with us at all and just the speed we're putting on the track out here? No, so set your sights on the 16 and knock the rest of them down in front of you as well, and that would be including the 9. Whatever they have figured out in turn 1 and 2, his spotter is telling him, you're doing great, you're killing them out there, just keep it up.
Casey Kane just drives by the outside of Carl Edwards in the 60. I think Carl Edwards saw how quick that Casey caught him. We know we'll have at least one more pit stop. No sense in pushing the issue. He caught me that quick. Let him go on by me where we don't wrestle each other.
So Kane moves to 5th. 1 Chevy, 2 Dodges, 2 Fords in the top 5. Jeff Burton carrying the Coast Guard colors out in front by 0.7 of a second over Ryan Newman. Jeff Burton, your leader, with 75 laps to go and at least one more pit stop in the offing. While we were away, Carl Edwards had a tire go down and had to make an unscheduled stop. Dick?
Yeah, he thought he had a right rear going down, or possibly that they simply had hurt it. And for safety's sake, they decided to come in, put a new one on. He's out of here.
Now, wasn't he warned earlier to take it easy on the right rear because one of the tires that came off that corner had shown some signs of chunking on the first stop?
That's the worst thing you can do, is tell a driver to be careful if you got a little bit of a tire issue, because then for the rest of the race, you're constantly going to have that in the back of your mind. Every time a car moves around a little bit, like those two just did, you think you got a tire going down.
Now this is teammates battling for the 7th position. J.J. Yaley in the 18 car to the bottom of the racetrack. Denny Hamlin in the 20 to the top. Now the problem, going back to Carl Edwards in the 60 car, he pitted roughly with about 77 laps to go. He's going to have to make one more stop, probably more so for tires, but for fuel as well.
The good news for Edwards is right now he's the first car 1 lap down, so should a caution come out,
Larry,
he would get the free pass.
You sure he couldn't make 77 laps?
It would be a push. It would be a push. I think the biggest push, Daryl, he's had 2 right rear tire issues with making that right rear tire go that many laps. Is that what you used to ask Hammond on the radio? Are you sure he can't make it?
What I would at this point in time, Jeff knows exactly what I'd be saying. Look, we are in a box now. We got to try to make it to the end, right, Jeff?
Daryl, I've heard that more than one time in our career, but you know, like Larry's saying, you're going to need a little bit of help if you're going to go 70-plus laps here in Atlanta, especially the kind of speed you're carrying around here. But a man once told me, never say never.
That's right. You never know how. The only thing I can tell you, you never know how far you can go until you have to.
Second place race. Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth. Now they're about 1.9 seconds behind Jeff Burton as Kenseth tries to move through and complete the pass. Can't seal the deal, Daryl.
It's hard to make that pass on the bottom when that guy on the top won't give you the room. You need the whole racetrack to come up. As long as he keeps you pinned down right there. Now he's going to make it this time because that lap car got in the way.
But I'm going to tell you what, Matt Kenseth in the 17, his car has probably been one of the better cars that will run on the bottom and still carry the momentum off the corner. You know, one of our Busch Series regulars that's been having a pretty solid day, keeps working his way to the front. He started back in 23rd position. Johnny Sauter in the 00 car here with 69 laps to go. He's knocking on the door of making it to the top 10 back there in the 11th position, the old yellow transportation car.
I like this little crowd right here. Harold Holly and Johnny Sauter and Yellow and 00. I kind of like all that.
Let's check on Carl Edwards' tire that caused him to make that unscheduled stop. Dick?
Well, Mike, this is the right rear, and look at the outside edge of it, torn right down to the cord. The surface of the tire is absolutely missing. There is only one other tire that we have seen that's even close to this. Came off Ryan Newman's car, also the right rear.
A couple of guys that don't mind hanging it out. I mean, they ride. A lot of drivers like to feel the right front digging in. It seems like Carl and maybe Ryan and a couple others, dirt trackers from the past, don't mind hanging it out on that right rear and using it up.
Well, we know that Carl Edwards likes a loose race car here, and Jeff Hammond was pointing out to me earlier that when you're abusing the right rear like that.
If you moved up a little bit, would it help? I don't know. I'll try it.
And that's Carl Edwards' spotter, Bobby Hudson, asking him, can you move the car around and help the conditions? But Jeff Hammond was pointing out to me, when you're using the right rear tire up, that's a sign that that car is a little on the free side.
Oh, yeah. The thing about Carl is, I mean, you would think, but based on his history here, that he would be rim riding. But that doesn't always go, it isn't always the driver preference that does that. It's not that the driver necessarily wants to run that high line or the low line. It's what the car wants. You find out what the car wants, and then that's where you take it. How about it, Dick?
Well, on lap 34, I was listening to Carl Edwards, Darrell, and he said that he didn't want to run up high because he found out in cup practice that, quote unquote, it eats tires.
Wow. Wonder what he's thinking now. He ain't running high now.
But you know, Darrell, I could maybe see that in cup practice this morning. But now we've had all these laps, more rubbers down up there. I don't know that it would be that hard on the tire up there now, as long as you've got some rubber that's laid down.
What's going to be tough for Carl Edwards is that Jeff Burton has begun to catch the tail end of the field, and he is lapping cars. He's got past Mark Green and Stacy Compton, so Edwards is no longer the first car one lap down. He had 3 unremarkable finishes on the old configuration in a Busch car.
He learned everything he knows about this track in a Busch car watching Fox Sports and FX and Speed.
Matt Kenseth 2.5 seconds back. Second place car. Casey Kane 3.8 seconds back in third. In the number 9 Dodge.
The whole run.
And right now, our top 4 cars, Burton, Kenseth, Kane, and Biffle, they're almost all running identical speeds as we've got 58 laps to go.
Slowly been getting worse, but it's not bad.
Yikes, I don't like the sound of that. I've heard Casey Kane say that, if that's who we're listening to, and I think it is. I've heard him say that all too often.
Well, the lap times are still good, but Greg Biffle is a half a tenth faster per lap. Here comes Biffle's number 16 in fourth. And Paul Menard gets a run on Jason Leffler. And Menard tries to pick up or take back the 14th spot. Ooh, up there.
They're swapping. They're going to have a little fun right now. You go high, I go low, I'll cut under you, put a slide job on you. They're just working each other. Watch this. He goes in the corner, gets that nice high line right up in the middle of the turn. Gets a lot of momentum when he does that.
Nice crossover move.
Yeah, a little crossover with a head of steam.
Now just remember, Paul Menard in the 11 car, he has a little bit fresher tires than most of these guys, about 12 or 14 laps, because he pitted back on lap 102. Most everyone else pitted on lap 88. But just remember, with Paul Menard needs a long run here because, as Jeannie Zelasco pointed out to me, he only has 1 set of tires left in his pits.
Carl Edwards closing in. Ooh, on him, almost a little too close.
I believe that one more set's going to work out, Larry. This long green right here is just what the guys with 1 set of tires left in the pits. That's exactly what they needed.
Matt, we heard Casey Kane talking about a vibration. What's up?
Says it is getting worse and worse, Mike. His crew told him, just take it easy. We'd like to pit around lap 159 laps from now.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's the good thing. They're about 7 to 10 laps away from what would be a scheduled pit stop that will take them to the end.
Good news for Carl Edwards.
So Jeff Burton's lead now 2.5 seconds. New face in the top 10, Jamie McMurray. Despite that disconnected oil line, they have rebounded and come back up into the top 10. Ryan Newman is not happy. Welcome back to the Nicorette 300 on FX. 50 laps to go, and Newman has exploded a right rear tire that, like Kyle Busch's, took most of the right side of the car off when the shoulder of the tire appeared to let go. That flailing tread did the rest of the work.
But Darrell, even though there's a lot of damage to that car, if you're going to lose a tire on the straightaway, is the best place to lose it.
So another race car, pretty well torn up, used up. Look, there's hardly anything left of the right rear of that car, with the tire tread and carcass flailing around.
You'd think something that would do that much damage, that it'd be hard to tear it up.
And look
the
at
tire
Ryan.
I'm talking about.
Right. And Ryan's saying, look, take a look at this.
Somebody must have been asking him, what happened? What
Yeah,
happened?
well, I guarantee there's people hollering, hey, Ryan, what happened?
You see the inner liner held up. The bead of the tire around the rim appears to be intact, but the tread surface of the tire starting at one shoulder comes apart. And the pace car is leading the field of cars down pit road. Pit road is closed, but because of the debris field out there in the quad oval, past the entrance to pit road, this is the safest place to take the cars. So pit road is not open for service. We continue under the caution flag. Ryan Newman is okay. Right side of his car is pretty messed up, and we're under caution for the 6th time today. Earlier we told you about the debris field from Ryan Newman's crash. Apparently the number 20 has run smack into it. Dick, a lot of damage to Denny Hamlin's car.
Yeah, and the worst part of that damage, Mike, is that there is water pouring out from underneath the automobile. They are in the process right now of changing the radiator. It was kind of neat that they let the cars get down pit road to avoid more of the debris, because the crew had a good look at it. When they saw the water coming out, they said, bring it in. Got the radiator ready to go. The car is jacked up. They're going to change that radiator, try to get it back out as soon as they can.
Hamlin came in here second in points. He was running 8th at the time he was forced to the garage area.
Yeah, he was only 42 points behind Kevin Harvick.
Ryan Newman's car up on the rollback. Front end damage from sliding into the front stretch wall after the right rear tire let go in a big way.
There it is, and it really just got the, I mean, the car was coming back, and he was doing a good job. He got himself back up there fighting for the lead earlier.
Now you'll see Johnny Sauter just miss Ryan Newman.
Right, he dives out there, and here comes the 20, and yeah, that's what did the damage.
There you see what happened, right in the middle of the nose of that race car.
Speaking of that, Larry, I understand they're going to have a new rule for Talladega.
Yeah, I've seen the reinforcement bars that they're going to mandate. They had one on display in the garage area yesterday, and I think it was inevitable that was what they were going to do, is mandate how much support you could have behind your nose for Daytona and Talladega.
But look at this. Are we going to have to reinforce the rear of these cars? Because there's not a lot left other than the roll cage structure between that flailing tire and the driver.
That area you want to crush. When the car goes into the wall, if it goes in backwards particularly, you want that to crush for driver protection.
Okay.
So we don't need to do a whole lot back there. And what they're doing to the front, it's going to be better than it was, but it's not as drastic as you may think.
Jeff, exactly right. Stops underway. Burton's already in. Left side tires going on. No changes. Meanwhile, farther down pit road, the 17, they made a chassis adjustment to Dick Berggren.
Well, car 64, Jamie McMurray had a real tough early start to this event in that he lost an oil line to Gini.
JJ Yaley having a day. Remember, he met the wall a couple of times, finally cracked the top 5 prior to the caution, made major track bar adjustments today. It's gotten better and better. Air pressure and track bar adjustments here.
But I'm going to tell you what, that Shane Wilson-led crew of Jeff Burton, I think a lot has to do with their pit selection. They're down there at the entrance of pit road. They don't have a lot of people to mess with down there and get the stop. Then all he has to focus on is getting down pit road cleanly and get off of pit road. There you see the race off pit road. The 21 wins it by quite a bit over Matt Kenseth in the 17 and Casey Kane in the 9.
Counting the free pass car, Jason Keller, there are 24 on the lead lap as Jeff Burton brings them down to the green flag, 42 to go.
I think we should be okay on any tire issues. 42 laps, that's right in that window. So I think everybody will be able to run as hard as they want right now without worrying about tires.
We know some of the teams are out of tires. I think Jeff Burton, 21, our leader, he still has one set of tires left in his pits.
I believe
And I tell you what, that 64 car, Jamie McMurray right there, moving up into the 6th, 7th position. And we've got a battle for the lead here with Matt Kenseth in the 17, trying to get by Jeff Burton early in this run.
Uh-oh. You see the fire flying out?
And I think the speeds have picked up, DW. The cars are traveling well, they're on low air pressure, and they're digging here with 41 laps to go.
It's just, yeah, that's what it is, low air and driving hard.
And the track is cooling down because the sun's almost down. More grip.
Yeah, this one you get real serious now.
Dick Berggren.
Car 64, Jamie McMurray has 1 set of tires left to go. And there are a bit of tire worries here. He also has a set of tires sitting in the pits that have come off the car with cords showing on, you bet, the right rear.
And we were just talking about Jamie McMurray. An attaboy to his crew chief Brian Fraser. Remember, this car had an oil line come loose earlier, and now they're fighting their way back up here into the top 10.
Well, again, I think Rusty knows the importance of getting that car out there and getting it back in the race if you're going to try to run for the championship, be in the top 35 in points.
Now that yellow car, Paul Menard, an 11 car working the high side, running there in the 8th position. We know he just put his last set of fresh tires on that race car. He's got his hands full of Brian Vickers right now in the 57.
Bernie Lamar leading that pack, then McMurray. This is 6th place on back. And Jason Leffler, add him to the mix in the 32.
Good run for Jason Leffler in that green car, kind of fitting.
30, 20, 30 flat on the leader.
St. Patrick's Day weekend. You hear a lot of lap times being given to these guys right now. Their time versus what the leader's running right now, which is Matt Kenseth in the 17.
And this group is about 0.6 of a second slower than Kenseth.
I don't think they're worried about the leader right now. They're just taking, they're just worried about each other.
30, 40, 30, 15 on the leader.
In the meantime, these guys are running 30, 70s and 30, 80s.
That's it, bud. Take care of your stuff. Still 7 back to the 18.
Matt?
Mike, an update on some of the drivers running in the top 5. Now, leader Matt Kenseth, he complained of a vibration shortly before his pit stop. His tires looked fine, and he wasn't showing any cords. Meanwhile, the 21 of Burton, he was showing cords on the outer edge right by the shoulder on his right rear. The 9 of Kane, he was showing cords on his right rear. An extreme wear on the outer shoulder of the right rear of Biffle.
And guys, you don't think the pace has picked up? 7 of our top 9 just ran their fastest lap of the race about 2 or 3 laps ago.
It's that time of day.
It's time to go.
You don't want to be late for quitting time.
And you're going to use these tires for 45 laps.
That's about what they'll take. That's going to be borderline.
Now these guys finally are getting single line. They'll be able to make up a little more ground now. And you see right there the air temperature of 59 degrees. That track temp, now we're monitoring that down in turn 1 and 2, 63 degrees. 3 and 4 still has a little sun on it, so that surface will be just a little warmer. You're going to get more grip down in 1 and 2 right now. But now the whole track will start cooling down in these final laps.
Fastest car on track, Jeff Burton. He's closed right back up on Matt Kenseth for the lead.
I believe that Burton is a little bit better than Matt right now. I think he has been most of the day. Matt looks like he got out front there on that restart, but I believe Burton's got a little bit better hot rod.
Burton's last win in the Busch Series, October of 2002 at Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte. Looking for his 21st career Busch Series win.
Yeah, he just closed up a lot down in 3 and 4, right on the bottom, in the gas hard, closed the gap quite a bit. Seems like he's got this system worked out where he runs high in 1 and 2, low in 3 and 4.
He has plenty of time. We've got 33 laps to go right now, so there's plenty of time to kind of search the right groove and the right move out.
And I haven't heard of any tire issues on either of those 2 cars.
Right now, the fastest car on the track by just a little bit, Greg Biffle in that 16 car back there in 4th.
And he's 2.3 seconds off the lead.
And when you got a tire, when you know you got a potential tire problem, a driver can do a lot to alleviate that. by just not sliding the car around a lot. Letting the car kind of have what we call its head. Let it kind of go where it wants to a little bit. Don't pinch it down.
There's Greg Biffle in the 16 car trying to close in on Casey Kane, but Jeff Burton in the 21, he just keeps getting closer and closer to the rear bumper of that Greg Biffle number 16 car, or Matt Kenseth 17.
A good driver can tell when he's abusing the tires. He's got a handful of steering wheel and he feels that right front just bent up under the car, or he feels that right rear rolling a little bit. A good driver will know that.
We'll mention Denny Hamlin is back in the race after radiator repair, 17 laps down in 38. And Kyle Busch has returned to the race. He is in 40th position and cannot advance from there based on the number of laps remaining. So the only cars in the garage, Newman, Sorensen, and Lynch, and Tracy Hines. 3 crashes and Sorensen with engine problems. And now here's trouble for David Green in the Kroger Kleenex. Number 27 Ford.
And this is going to be real big trouble because remember, this is the 5th race of the season. When we get to Bristol next week, they'll go off the top 30 current owner points, and he was 30th coming in here, so this is probably going to send him back. He may have to qualify on time when we get to Bristol next week. Jeff Burton in the 21, the Coast Guard Chevrolet just keeps searching around. Where is Matt Kenseth? Where does he have a weakness right now?
I think that Burton is just stalking him. You know, he just wants him to know he's back there. Just keeping him looking in his rearview mirror and making Matt maybe drive harder than he would really like to at this point of the race.
I agree, Darrell. I think Burton's in the position to be in control, and with the questions about tire wear, how hard do you want to run when there's still 28 laps to go?
Exactly.
But as Matt Kenseth in the 17 moved to the top side of the racetrack last time through 1 and 2, Jeff Burton that we're riding with in the 21, he moved to the bottom of the racetrack.
Well, again, I just say, you know, you go where the other guy isn't. If you're going to run low, I'm going to have to figure out how to get around you on the outside. If you're going to run high, I got to get around you on the inside. So that's what they're really, Jeff Burton's sitting there sizing up the competition right now. And what am I going to do? How am I going to beat this cat? Because he knows Matt, and Matt is real steady. He's not going to beat himself. Of course, Matt's thinking back to Las Vegas as well.
In 7 Busch Series starts here, Matt Kenseth has 5 top 4 finishes, including his win here in 2004.
Now, this was a battle for 6 right here, but Jason Leffler in the 32 car just drove by Bernie Lamar in the 77, so he takes over the 6th position.
Well, you know, right back there, Larry, I mean, there's some good races going on between the 18, the 32, the 77, 11, the 64, 57, even Kevin Harvick's up there, and Jay Sauter, Johnny Sauter.
Kenseth and Burton sizing each other up as the laps wind down. Casey Kane in his last 2 Busch Series starts here, 3rd in 2004 and 5th last year. That's his number 9, chasing the lead.
New sheriff in town if he can find an opening.
But there's just not an opening right now. He gets trapped behind the 0 car of Curtis Davis. He had just went by Jeff Burton in the 21. That's Casey Kane in the 9. Still plenty of time, though. 20 to go.
Yeah, but look at Burton. He said, uh-oh, where'd that 9 come from? I think Burton was sitting there holding a little something. He's going to use it now.
But they are in so much lap traffic right now. That's the biggest problem.
Let's check with that.
Mike, Casey Kane dusting off the cushion on the high line. The 17 of Kenseth said there's nothing I can do with the 21 or the 9. My car is just way too tight.
And that's what he was fighting early in the race. And I got to believe as the track has cooled down, more shade, more grip, that makes it tighter. There goes Casey Kane in the 9 to the outside for 2nd place.
But you know what I liked about it? You see Matt Kenseth, he didn't slide up in front of the 9 and try to block him. He gave him room and let him go because he knows he's faster.
Oh, look at last week's finish in Las Vegas. Matt Kenseth did not slide up and try to get into Jimmy Johnson and stop Johnson's forward momentum. Kenseth's a clean racer. He'll race you the way you race him.
Guys, respect that. You want to know how you get respect? You give respect.
What I did like, Darrell, was Casey Kane got right up almost on the back bumper of Elliott Sadler to catch a sniff of a draft. Slingshot that lap car, and that's what propelled him by Kenseth.
Well, watch this thing close, though, Mike. he comes off the corner like a rocket.
Where's Greg Biffle in all this? He's now pulling up on the 90 of Sadler. He is 2.3 seconds off the lead. With time running out. 17 laps to go.
And the man that bounced off the wall twice early in the race, J.J. Yaley in the 18 car, he's moved back in the top 5, 5th position right now for J.J.
Ah, he just kissed it. Gets it once off of 4 here. Little light kiss. Then off turn 2. A little light scrub there.
View from Clint Boyer.
Dirt track guys, they're used to doing that. They're used to being up on that cushion, hop over it a little bit, get all out of whack, bring it back together, and go again.
And remember, he came in here 3rd in the points with the problem his teammate Denny Hamlin had with the radiator. He'll probably move up to 2nd in the points, possibly.
An impressive run for Yaley, but how about the man right behind him, Jason Leffler, among the non-Cup drivers, and we've retired the term Bushwhacker. We're going to have to come up with a new name. But for Jason Leffler, among the Busch Series regulars, a great run here. 6th place, very strong, 6 seconds off the lead. Got a big advantage on Bernie Lamar, the next car in line, so it's going to be a great day for Leffler here.
And it's a team that has no Cup ties whatsoever. They're on their own pretty much, and behind him, we talked about guys at the top of the show. The 11 drivers making their first start just need to run all day. Bernie Lamar in the 77, Matt Yoakum, not only is he running all day, he's flirting with a top 10 finish.
He is having a great run, currently running in the 7th spot. Now, Kevin Harvick, like we mentioned earlier, sat him down. Their mission this weekend, continue to work on the confidence, continue to work on the radio communication, to talk about the chemistry between himself and crew chief Gene Need, and to be patient. Mission accomplished so far. Laps winding down, working on a top 5.
I like that combination. Old crew chief, young driver. Listen to me, boy.
Now this is a battle for 8th right here. Paul Menard in the 11, Jamie McMurray in the 64. You got to figure Brian Vickers in the 57. All these guys battling for the 8th position right now.
And Jeannie, this group is all running lap times within 1/10 of a second of one another.
Yeah, as we look at the 11 of Paul Menard, can't give them enough love this afternoon. They dropped as low as 30th at one point, walking in and out of their pits, just trying to keep track of what's going on. Basically, I guess I'd describe them as a science project. Remembering he brushed the wall, tore his valance, again, dropping as low as 30th, but just keeping his nose down. The guy's working hard on the car. And, of course, the crew chief just reminding him, you know, stay in it, stay in it. Same thing we saw in the 18 pit with Jason Ratcliffe, telling his driver, don't worry, brush the wall, calm down, stay calm.
But I'm going to tell you what, here with 11 laps to go, our leader, Jeff Burton, as we still got this battle going on between Menard and Brian Vickers, but our leader, Jeff Burton, he has found a little something, and he has driven almost 3/4 of a second away from 2nd place Casey Kane in the 9.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question when he was following Matt Kenseth there for a while that he was really just kind of riding along, kind of sizing up maybe what he thought was going to be his competition.
He's going to need to pedal hard, Darrell. Last lap, Kane was 2/10 quicker than Burton, and this lap Kane is almost a 10th faster. So and now Kane 3/10 off of what Burton just ran, so a little ebb and flow there to the lead.
I noticed when Kane was trying to get by even Kenseth and Jeff Burton there earlier, every time he'd get a good run, somebody'd be in his way up in the top lane up there, and he'd lose his momentum. That could have happened to him somewhere back there we didn't notice.
Now Burton, our leader, the 21 car, as we've got 9 laps to go. He has fairly clean racetrack in front of him. Brian Vickers, he's found a 2nd win here. He just drove by Bernie Lamar in the 77 car. That moves him up to the 7th position with 9 to go.
Now at 3rd place, which is where Matt Kenseth finds himself, his Roush teammate Greg Biffle is closing in by a 10th or 2 a lap.
Yeah, Greg Biffle definitely has one of the faster cars, but it's almost like Greg's car is not very good on restarts, and he loses so much ground he just can't recover from it.
Sparks fly from underneath Kenseth's car going off into the corner, and here's Biffle on the high side for 3rd place.
Just gets that run, gets that engine wound up, keeps it wound up, and he'll try to complete the pass going down the backstretch off into turn 3. And he will. 8 to go.
Paul Menard trying to hold off Jamie McMurray, who has fought back from that loose oil line.
I think 11's strategy was pretty good, getting those tires when he did and sitting there, and it's really paid off for him.
That group had a really rough Las Vegas last week, so this 11 team, Paul Menard, they needed this type of a run.
Highest rookie in the race is Bernie Lamar in 8th, but Mark McFarland, who in pre-race we saw going vertical with the Blue Angels, having a pretty good day here. He is 15th. And since he started tail end of the field, he's our biggest mover.
Yeah, it's a good move for a good run today for Junior Motorsports. All my buddies over there, Robert G. Jr., Jimmy, and all of them that are doing the bodies and stuff. Good run today, boys.
And they were borderline of making this race. Either the last car to get in, but now if they can close this deal here today with this top 15 run, he should be in the top 30 in owner points as we head to Bristol. Pressure be off to qualify. This group just keeps after it right here. Paul Menard in the 11, Jamie McMurray battling for 9th. But if they keep battling side by side, there's a young guy behind them, not too far back, that yellow car, Kevin Harvick, the 33. He's trying to get back to the top 10, and so as well as Johnny Sauter in the 00.
The 00 is right there as well, so these guys better watch out.
Harvick's in 11th. I'm not sure he's made it into the top 10. He hasn't made it above 8th all day because of multiple pit stops, but boy, he's passed a lot of cars.
He has that, but he's trying to get back to the top 10 now when it counts. 5 to go. And Jeff Burton, our leader right now, he has walked the dog over a second over Casey Kane right now in the 9 with fairly clean racetrack out in front of him.
Boy, there's what makes you hot. That kid in the 20 car got his car fixed. He's back out there faster than most everybody else.
17 laps back.
17 laps
back in
now.
38th, and he can maybe be tough, maybe one more position.
Looks to me like Mr. Yaley is getting in pretty good position here to possibly get by the 17 car.
Yeah, I just believe Matt Kenseth's car, the 17, we heard him complain all day long late in the run, just gets tighter and tighter. The front end just keeps sliding.
Now see if the 20 will move right on through here, or if he'll hold station behind the 18 and try to work traffic. Since it's no position advantage to the 20 to make the pass.
But the 18 wants to close the deal here with 3 laps to go, because remember, he should move into the second position in points. Big picture.
Is Burton going to drive the 21 car next week at Bristol?
I don't think so. I know he's going to run it 2 more races, 5 total, but I'm not sure he will be back in the car at Bristol. I think Kevin Harvick will be.
He and Harvick run first and second there last year. That's pretty nice ride.
You saw right there, J.J. Yaley, if he can close the deal where he's at, Kevin Harvick stays where he's at within 14 points of the points lead.
And Jamie McMurray would move to 3rd. That number 21 car this year lost an engine with Burton at Daytona, finished 4th at California, and 2 third places with Kevin Harvick. Harvick in his own car today, the 33, has just gotten Johnny Sauter. That's 11th place right there, as Burton is a lap away.
It's on cruise control right now.
Fairly clean racetrack, just needs to make it through turn 3 and 4, nice and clean.
It's been 17 starts for Jeff Burton going back to October of '02 since he last visited Victory Lane in the Busch Series.
Today is his, today all the way around.
Jeff Burton, the winner. Matt Kenseth holds off J.J. Yaley at the wire.
Jason Leffler finishes 6th. And you know what? I'm happy for Jeff Burton's crew chief, Shane Wilson. He has been in the Nextel Cup for 2 years with a 77 car. Took a pretty good beating over there, so it's good to see him get the victory lane.
So the 88 and the 42 had a drag race to the line, but the 88 prevailed. Falling over Casey Mears.
20 cars finished on the lead lap. 6 cautions slowed the average to 128 miles an hour. And it's the 21st career victory in 248 starts for Jeff Burton. His 3rd top 5 in 3 starts this year.
And our Just for Men, new and improved Just for Men hair color, targets only the gray. Ain't nothing like it. The move of the race, lap 176. Jeff Burton in the 21 car. Led 50 laps straight from lap 100 through 149 and is the 8th different winner in the last 8 Atlanta Busch Series races in victory lane. Matt Yoakum is down there.
And he gets the beer shower. The first time for Jeff Burton since Charlotte 2002. And the first guy to meet you in victory lane was who?
Hey, I met Kenseth. He's just a really good guy, and we're good friends. And he's felt bad for me for the last few years, and it's good to finally get something done. Just a real honor to drive for the Coast Guard and Rich Ducati and Chevrolet and everybody. Richard has given us awesome equipment, and he deserves it.
It has been a long time, Jeff.
You know, it has been, and you question yourself, you question everything, and I'm proud of myself. I've stayed focused through all of it, and we're working really hard and trying really hard to get back to the top. Really, really proud to be with Richard and all these guys, and just good day for us. Hopefully we can do it again tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeff Burton in victory lane.
J.J. Yaley second in the points. Kevin Harvick maintaining the top spot. You see Jamie McMurray. We had that earlier problem with the oil line you talked about hanging in there.
Win! 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 Thank you!
They were ready to roll and the weather was perfect at the fastest place on earth. They'll go 500 miles tomorrow. We hope to see you on Fox at that time. Casey Kane is on the pole with another Dodge. Ryan Newman up front. We'll see if Carl Edwards can flip out, if Jimmy Johnson can keep it going, and if Bill Lester can add to history. Chris Myers for our entire gang here. Thanks for watching NASCAR on FX.